Welcome to the Wildcard special of the Spreads of the Week, where we'll be going over all the wildcard games and giving our opinions on the lines. Quite a few tight lines and a couple of big ones to get our beaks into there, Mike. But things first to congratulate you for taking the Spreads title this year by one spread. Yeah, it's how much you won by. My congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. Although you have just notified me that we both finished under 50% for the year, which means it probably was a battle of the incompetents to some degree. But we did okay. We did okay. It was a bit of a helter skelter year this year. I still feel like there's some bad offensive football being played as a consequence of lack of practice time, shortened pre-seasons, and some COVID hangover as well. In terms of roster construction. I think I saw the other day 33 quarterbacks. Wait, it was two a team almost. It was 64 quarterbacks played this year or something. There's absolutely ridiculous amount of quarterbacks played. It's just been very hard to predict, I think. But I don't know what you think about that.
No, I saw that as well. It was like the first time, I think, since the 70s that more than 60 quarterbacks have played or something like that. So definitely that's factored into it. We saw some huge spreads covered throughout the year, some 20-point spreads being blown away by the favourites, but then the usual rigmarole of upsets and stuff like that. It just became, we had a really bad week 4 and 5. I think that was our downfall. We only got 3 or 4 picks then, and just kind of good first week, a terrible last week. Just really hard to get over 50%, really. I think next year our aim will be to try and hit that number.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got some good wildcard matchups anyway. The Lions missing out. They missed out by such a small margin that I thought they'd made it. So you corrected me the other day, Thomas. So
the game that won you the spreads there, and I had the Packers.
Yeah. What a finish to that one. My goodness. But what that will do quite nicely is bring us on to the first game that the Athletic has teed up here, which is the Saturday night affair. The Seahawks sneaking in ahead of the Lions. My word.
Wow.
Take on a divisional foe in the 49ers. You're on it, Tom, or would you like me to go first?
I'll have a crack at this one. The old, is that 8 or 9.5 now?
9.5, it's saying. Niners. You always have to have a quick look at the Athletic spreads because they can sometimes make horrendous errors on these. So
the last was a real shock. Going on the Seahawks to cover that. If it was maybe 10 or more, I would take him, but I think this is a Niners rolling win here for the Niners at home. They've already done that to the Seahawks once this year when they played at home. If this was at Lumen Field, I believe it's called now. I thought it's called as it was called back in the early days. I feel like that's what I know it as. But if it was there, I think it's the Seahawks cover. But the fact it's in San Francisco, I think the Niners, they've really had a propensity to roll teams this year. Their last 4 or 5 wins have been by double digits. So, I mean, it would be reticent to take the Seahawks here, I think, unless you disagree.
I think I might disagree. I mean, Jimmy G is not playing, is he? They'll be going with the rookie again, quarterback, the Niners. I don't know. I mean, it's very, very tough, this one, because I really am hard pushed to give somebody a 10-point advantage in the playoffs. It just feels wrong.
True.
But as you say, they do have the best defense in the league, the 49ers, and they should have enough on offense to exploit the Seahawks defense. So it should be a comfy win. I'm just going to differ here. Why not? Get off to a start. I'm going to say Geno and a very balanced Seahawks attack. My goodness, how much better do they look for shedding Russell Wilson? It's been the defense giving them problems this year, the 49ers. I'm just going to say it's a touchdown win for the 49ers. No real scare for them here, but the Seahawks cover.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I feel like just because they're the 7 seed, ever since the NFL has gone to the 7 team brackets in each division, the 7 seed is always a bad team. Really,
Yeah.
not a bad team, just not really the caliber to win it. So I do agree the Niners win. It's just by how much really that we're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not a huge amount of mystery on that one. I don't think, although I'd love to be proven wrong. That'd be a great start to the weekend. The Athletic have them a bit out of order here, so I'm just going to go for the next one, 6 p.m. GMT, obviously. Miami at Buffalo. Wow, whoa, holy mackerel. Talking about big playoff spreads, assuming Tagovailoa is not good to go on this one. Tom, have you heard?
No, I haven't. No, I'll have a look quickly.
Yeah, I think we better have a look. And if he's in any way questionable, I think we need to stick a pin in this one, an almighty pin in it, because that's going to make a huge difference.
Oh, he's out. He's out.
Okay. No. All right. No need. No need. Frigid conditions. The Bills very emotional with all of the Hamlin stuff. And no starts at third choice quarterback for the Dolphins at the start of the year. So Skylar Thompson. Is it Thompson? I think it's Thompson. I don't even know his name. This is the point we've got to with NFL quarterbacks now, where I don't know all of their names because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to have the Bills absolutely roll the Dolphins here in a bit of an obliteration, to be honest.
Yeah. I think down the stretch, this Dolphins team hasn't impressed me too much in terms of their mettle and what they're made of. There's been a few dodgy decisions in the organization about the quarterback's health this year, which I don't think has helped. And they're just, I don't know. Mike McDaniel doesn't strike me as someone who's going to go to Buffalo and get a bigger playoff cover in there for the Dolphins. I think this is quite a meek effort put forward by the Dolphins, again in frigid conditions, as you say. We've discussed that many times this year. Their record's terrible in those games where it's under 40 degrees. So, yeah, I'll agree with you on this and just take the Bills at -10. If the NFL has shown us anything this year, it's that a 10-point favorite often isn't enough. So that's we'll agree on that.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do, the Dolphins, next season, because they're either going to have to win the AFC, so they have all home games in the playoffs, or they're going to have to get some kind of downhill running game going to complement their passing game, because otherwise they just can't win in conditions like they're going to face on Saturday. So yeah, something to watch for the offseason, certainly. Well, it will be freezing conditions outside of the dome in Minneapolis, but I imagine it'll be toasty inside. If we ever get this spread loaded, my word, it's taking forever. Right.
I think the
Jaguars
game. I think the Jags is the Saturday night game.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, it could be. It could be the Athletic often not putting these in order. This
is the Sunday afternoon game. Does it say there the Jags is Saturday, or is it?
It says Sunday 1:15 a.m., which obviously that's my mistake. That's Saturday night. I have had a nightmare. No, I'm blaming the Athletic, and it's just user error as always. But we are now faced with a dilemma that I've clicked on that spread, and now that one isn't loading. So we may have somewhat of an issue here. I don't know what would be wrong with my internet, but I don't know. If this isn't working, I might need you to give us the lines. But here we go. I quite like to have all this. Makes it feel a bit more official, doesn't it? Okay, you're on that, Tom. Charger 2-point favorite, and this is one I know you'll be absolutely chomping at the bit to tell us about this one, Tom.
Yeah, I've been licking my lips about this for a while. My prediction was the Chargers squeak through into the playoffs, then a terrible gaff or something, or a missed field goal gets them out. So I'm going to say that happens here in Duval County, which is going to be rocking, as it was for that game against Tennessee the other night. The spread, I thought the Jags might be 3-point underdogs, but I'm still happy to take them. I think the Jags are going to win this game here. They've got all the momentum with them. It's kind of the same as the Dolphins in that the Chargers just strike me as a meek team. I just don't see him going and winning an away playoff game. I think it's a bit too much of a stretch for them here. And yeah, the Jags defense has actually been really good in this stretch, this last run this season. I expect them to hold the Chargers and then just do enough on offense to get this done. Yeah, that's pretty much my perfect spread, is that, Mike. I've kind of predicted this one would happen for quite a while. So go on. I better stick to my guns here and take the Jags.
Yeah, no, I'm. You explained that all pretty succinctly. I don't have any real qualms with that. The Chargers are hurt again on defense. Not that certainly is not an excuse for them. They have continuous injury issues. You'd think they would start, recruiting players, hiring players that were less injury prone to maybe combat that, but apparently not. They just keep the same guys on the roster and they get hurt every year. So that certainly isn't an excuse for the Chargers. That's pretty pathetic roster construction. And yeah, I think it's set up perfectly. I think the Jags could well be, trailing by a bit and then just kick a last-minute field goal to win the game. I don't know. I think I just feel like it's something the Chargers are going to find a way to grasp defeat from the jaws of victory here, as is their penchant in the playoffs historically. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Certainly, I think the Jags. I've been very wrong about the Jags this season, so this is you take this with a huge pinch of salt. But I almost feel like it could be comfy for them, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, the last time these guys played, the Jags rolled them in SoFi State. That was like a 30-point win. And
yeah.
Around the
I think that was during Herbert's broken rib spell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So if you imagine that maybe a 2 or 3 touchdown swing because Herbert's healthy, that's still a touchdown win for the Jaguares here.
Yeah.
Give me the Jags. We will try.
Could be a low-key good game though. This one could be tight.
Oh no, I think it's my pick. Although we'll talk about them. We'll talk about them in turn. But there are some other good ones too. I think
another tight one coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the NFL. I read an article on The Athletic today. The NFL playoffs historically, since I've been watching it, this article was the last 10 years, but essentially since I've been watching it, so since 2008, these things are always about momentum going into playoffs, and Vikings haven't got any. The Vikings haven't got any momentum. The Giants obviously came off a loss to the Eagles, but they didn't play anybody. They rested their entire team, and the Vikings we've seen have taken some really bad results at home this year. Not even on the road, in their own dome, they've taken some horrible results. Cousins really came back to earth after he had that mid-season spell that kind of really hurt me on some bets that I had against them. They won some close games they had no right to win. And they've kind of regressed to the mean here a little bit down the stretch and showing what kind of football team they really are. Historically bad defense. And the Giants aren't that bad on offense. You know, they've managed to get to the end of the season with Jones and Barkley both healthy, which is huge for them. So I'm going to go for another upset here. I don't rate the Vikings. I think if the Eagles played them up next, we'd absolutely destroy them. So give me the Giants here to come in. A big healthy dose of Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones pulling on read options now it's playoff season. Do enough to keep the Vikings offense on the bench. What might actually, I'd be interested in looking at the under of that 48 points as well. The Giants could turn this into a really ugly game, and take away the win. Yeah,
that's interesting. I'm very tempted to differ here on this one, but I just don't think I can. I can't trust the Vikings defense at all, which is absolutely the worst defense out of all these teams we're going to discuss by some distance. And as you said, if the Giants just keep this close to the chest and a lot of read option and just try and gash him on the run, this could be embarrassing for the Vikings, to be honest. I mean, last time they played, it was a close game. the Vikings we said it earlier in the season, when the Vikings are favored in these games, I think they've only covered twice now. There was one point when they were favored, they hadn't covered any games. So yeah, it's just historically on that data, I'm just going to take the Giants there and agree. But yeah, the 3 points, it's a tough one. I could see the Vikings pulling out a win, but go on, I'll take the Giants. I think an upset's on the cards here.
Yeah, I think very appealing double for me. This
yeah,
Jags cover, Giants cover as a double.
Extend it out a little bit then.
Yeah, extend it out a little bit, but yeah, no, I'm quite happy with both of those teams covering as underdogs in these playoff games. So I think I'll certainly be looking.
Solid defense. You can usually count on that to get your parlay.
Yeah, no, I'll certainly be looking into that before these games kick off. Next on the slate, we got the Ravens going to the Bengals. I assume Lamar Jackson is not healthy.
Yeah, I was having a look earlier. It seems very touch and go here with Lamar. He seems to be saying he can play, but a report came out saying it's going to be an uphill battle this morning for him to get there. So it's really tough. I mean, it could be one we call on the day, depending if he's playing or not. But it sounds like he's not going to be at full health anyway. And this is the main issue with Lamar Jackson moving forward in his NFL career, is that I can see this just happening a lot for the Ravens.
Yeah. No, and Jalen Hurts as well has had 2 seasons back-to-back now with some durability issues, and he's a much sturdier runner than Lamar Jackson is. He just looks like he's an injury waiting to happen, Lamar, and that's kind of been borne out again this season. Does not protect himself either, is the other thing to say. Yeah. So I think it's you to go first here, Tom. I would agree. I would agree that I'd like to know if he's going to play. I mean, I would kind of be amazed if he doesn't play because they've looked so awful without him. Lest we forget that they may not have, if he had stayed healthy, big if, but if he had, I'm not sure the Bengals would have got back in to the position they did in the division.
Yeah, true.
Had Lamar Jackson stayed healthy. So I'm still going to take the Bengals I'm still going to say the Bengals are favored, and I think they'll win the game. But the Bengals also, we call them the Bungles for a reason. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to smash them here, even with a backup quarterback in. They will. Well, we just saw it at the end of the regular season. They absolutely destroyed them with their third choice QB in there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've got done a few times on the Bengals this year, I have to say, because whenever I see them in a one-score game, my eyes light up when they're favored. I think it could be an easy underdog cover, but they have a penchant these days for blowing people out, and their offense is very high-flying to the point where they could be unstoppable here on their home field. So I think if Lamar's not playing, this is a quite comfy Bengals win. I think. What we're going to see is maybe a few close games, but then I think there could be the potential for some big blowouts in these extended playoffs for the NFL here this season. So go on, give me the Bengals, home favorites there, 7 points. I like that.
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals too. As we said earlier, momentum. I don't think anyone in the AFC has more momentum than the Bengals at the moment. Maybe the Bills with their sort of emotional energy from a couple of weeks ago. But I think the Bengals have got all kinds of momentum. So, if Lamar Jackson is restricted to the pocket and he can't run, still give me the Bengals. If Lamar Jackson can run, that's the Ravens' only chance, which feels like we've been saying that for 2 years, but continues to be true.
Yeah. True.
Dallas at Tampa Bay. I love the fact. I love it. The Dallas Cowboys are just victims of their own hubris once again. With a woeful performance against the Commanders.
Yeah.
Did you know, Tom, that statistically that was their second worst offensive output since the year 2000 against the Commanders? Pathetic. Yeah.
And now, against a team that has nothing to play for.
And they had
that's inexcusable.
And they played their starters. Don't get it twisted. They played all their starters on offense and defense. they've looked ropey. They've looked ropey here, the Cowboys. The Buccaneers have looked ropey all season. So, yeah, tough, right? Tough to pick this game.
Yeah,
but the
go on.
Cowboys,
I'm interested to see where you go on this one. This is a tight one.
I'm just going with my heart here, just because it would amuse me to such a degree that I don't think I'd be able to contain myself. But I can also. I'm obviously a huge Eagles homer, and so I am going to take the Buccaneers, Kel Surprise. But can't you just see it? Like the Bucs turn up, they stifle their defenses. They've got a lot of these DBs healthy again at the right time. They sort of stifle the Cowboys' offense like the Commanders did last week. And then it's Brady in the playoffs. Like they rested Mike Evans last week. They rested Brady. I just think this could be on here, and that would be a complete disaster in Texas. That would be in Dallas. They would be up in arms if they threw this away 2 years in a row. So yeah, give me the Bucks to work some magic there, the Magic Kingdom. Well, not really, but at least it's in Florida.
It's geographically slightly significant there. So
yeah, I've gone incredibly hoarse with my excitement for this one.
Oh no, I'm really fired up. It's good to see. But I was looking at the Bucks quite hard on this one, but I don't think the spread's enough for me here. You know, I'm going to differ here. I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys win this by a field goal. Although I don't feel particularly comfy about it. I think it's going to be a real slug this game. I looked for the under there, certainly under 43 points. I'd probably get it. I think the Cowboys just defense wills them over the line here, and I mean it would really be wise for them to just turn to the running game and the screen game, the short passing game here. Because if you look at Prescott there, I mean 15 or 16 picks on the year. I mean that's doesn't bode too well. But I think just the number on the line here is dictating this for me. It's a field goal win. I don't mind that too much. Even if it was like a 3.5 point one, I'd probably side with the Bucks. But I think the Cowboys eke this one out. Although, yeah, it's I certainly wouldn't be putting money on that. Let's put it that way.
No, and I think that would allow them, if they did eke this one out, as you say, I think that would allow them to avoid if everything goes as we've called it, they would avoid the Eagles in the next round. We would get the lowest seed coming out of this group here, which would be the Giants at Lincoln Financial Field, which I would obviously feel very good about. Just because we've got some time here, Tom, if everything went as we've called it, who would your Chiefs have up next, do you think?
Oh,
be the lowest seed.
Yeah, it'd have to be the Jags.
That'd be the Jags, yeah. Arrowhead
is quite a tough matchup for the Chiefs. Just the way the Jags defense is playing at the moment, I think that could be a bit of a prickly matchup. But yeah, I'd say that's how it's going to pan out. What about you?
What in terms of who do I think the Chiefs are going to get?
Yeah.
Oh, I agreed with you. I think the Jags will beat the Chargers. I think I think everybody at home will be everybody that doesn't really have the same affinity for the Jags maybe that we do, or the perhaps said a bit better, the same sort of lack of faith that you and I have in the Chargers would be hoping for a Chargers-Chiefs matchup, which probably would be a better game because they always play the Chiefs really, really close.
They do. They're always high-scoring affairs, those.
Yeah, so probably that's what my heart wants, but just as a neutral, totally no feelings either way. But it'd be well, I don't know, Dougie P going back to Kansas City. It's there's a lot of fun elements there actually. So good on either side in the AFC.
Yeah, and then I think in the way that will pan out, there'll be a rematch for the Bengals and the Bills, which would be very exciting as well in the other game. So
yeah, I mean,
the AFC could get really hot at that the divisional stage.
I haven't really seen if I have a look at NFL odds here. Playoff picture and odds. I haven't really seen who's favored. Oh my goodness, this is a whole article. I'm not sure if we want that. Right.
No.
I was just going to see if it had odds to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
I'm pretty confident the Eagles will not be the favourite. I would think it would be Chiefs, then Bills, then Eagles, I would suspect. But which you can't really argue with because we don't know how healthy Hurts really is.
No.
Somehow Josh Allen has got to the playoffs healthy, despite taking absolute continued punishment throughout the year. He's just he's an Iron Man, that boy.
Yeah, he's absolutely insane. I think I mean, I said to you earlier in the year that Eagles running game is potentially the best I've seen at the NFL level, when everything's firing and it's healthy. So the Eagles are going to be very tough to stop here, just because you're not really going to stop them putting up points. And how many elite defenses are around? Probably the Niners is the only one I'd class as elite at the moment. So it's I think that could be a really interesting game if that ends up being the championship game. But it'll be hard for one of these AFC teams, I think, to win a Super Bowl against those two teams.
I think the Chargers, excuse me, the 49ers will hit an inevitable wall with their quarterback play, I suspect. I could be wrong. If we were to play them at all, it would be at Lincoln Financial Field. So I would be quite confident in, even with their good defense, I'd be confident of handling them. I think the biggest threat to the Eagles really comes from the Dallas Cowboys, to be honest. If they can get themselves out of this mire that they seem to be in, urban, they could be a threat. But I think honestly, Tom, I think best odds ever potentially of a Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. That might be. I don't think we've ever had it more likely where you and I may be in direct competition for one of these. So
true. I think if that is the case, we're looking at like a 45-40 ball game.
It just makes you, at times like this, it makes you really glad not to be a Cleveland Browns fan, I think.
We can all agree on
that. We'll finish on something we can all agree on. Right.
Very good.
Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure, Thomas, as always, and I'll catch up with you. We'll do this next week too. We may as well do it each week as these playoffs continue. But until then, enjoy the games. Go well.